Welcome to Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And good morning, Keys. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The talk of the Keys. We are looking at some pretty warm weather. Still, we've been talking about that and its effects, but it's to be expected. It is June. And we're going to say good morning to the village manager, Village of Islamorada. It is Ron Saunders with us this morning. Hi, Ron. Welcome back.
Well, it's good to be back, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you. So we just heard, I don't know if you heard that traffic update from our newsroom. Had a couple of different headlines from Islamorada right now. I thought I heard you maybe react or not. Probably not. But nonetheless, it was a couple of traffic congestions up in Islamorada, but nothing serious. Things seem to be flowing generally well, and the Florida Keys Aqueduct Authority has made their way with their improvements in the line there. So things are somewhat back to normal there.
Yeah, we've been working with Aqueduct Authority. They give us a monthly report. Since I've been manager, I've asked them to come in, and they've given us updates on their progress. Seems like all the pipe, at least to our area, has been laid. They're working on some connections, but overall, it's been a pretty smooth partnership, and we appreciate all the work that the Aqueduct has done in ensuring that we all get our fresh water that we need.
Yeah, indeed. Well, speaking of water, the pool, it's reopened in the village. And let's talk about that. An upgrade has occurred, and the pool is reopened just in time for this hot weather.
Yeah, we had a grand reopening ceremony last Thursday. It's been several months. The pool had never been resurfaced since it was built over 20 years ago, and there were some leaks, et cetera. So we went ahead and did a complete redo of the pool. We also improved the locker rooms and added some facilities for our staff. So the public is very happy. The pool is very popular. It's a real attraction for locals and some visitors too. We actually got some money from the Tourist Development Council because tourists use the pool also. So we thanked the TDC for helping out with the project, and we certainly appreciate their assistance. And the pool is very popular. The other thing we're working on at Founders Park is our playground. We have now a ADA accessible playground. TDC once again stepped up with some money for that. So we're going to have a reopening of the new playground. I guess it's not a reopening; it's they've moved it a little bit. So it's a new playground at 10 a.m. tomorrow at Founders Park. The public's welcome to come enjoy the new playground. So we're trying to improve Founders Park. It's a gym for us, and so we always want to make sure that it looks great and is very open and receptive to both residents and visitors. And so we always welcome people to come to Founders Park at mile marker 87.
Yeah, I was going to say that tomorrow, 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., public invited to the ribbon cutting and celebration of the new playground and beach enhancements at Founders Park. As you said, a gem for the community and the village of Islamorada. All are welcome. 10 to 11 at mile marker 87, if I have that right. And, so join the community, free admission, breakfast items, drinks provided by the village of Islamorada. And the playground, Playmore Recreational Products and Services. They were showing off the new facility there. That's exciting. School board meeting, we had that on Tuesday. The reason we mentioned it is there were discussions regarding Islamorada, so please bring us up to date on that.
Well, speaking of Founders Park, for the last 25 years, we've had a ball field for the Coral Shores High School baseball team that's been in need of repair. So the school board came to us several years ago, actually. But since I've been here, I started in April of last year. We've been discussing them putting a field in there and making improvements. Our council months ago passed an agreement that the school board did not accept. They made some revisions. We've been going back and forth. So on Tuesday night, I attended the school board meeting up here at Coral Shores High School along with several of our council members. And we basically, were there, but it wasn't really much of an interaction. It was more of them just going through the agreement and making changes. And so we were there and listened to the changes. They want to have a little more control. They're putting in up to $4 million. That's just the field, the fences, and the dugouts. And so they wanted to talk about whether we would terminate them or not. I think a lot of that stuff is more hypothetical. But anyway, they did pass an agreement unanimously 4-0. One of the members was not able to be there. And so the next step is I'll be putting on the agenda for our next regular council meeting, which is on Tuesday, July 7th. And so we'll be considering, the council will consider it, and we'll decide whether to accept that agreement as amended or come back with something else. But we're getting kind of short on time. The next baseball season starts in January, but a new field takes months to install with all the improvements. And so we're kind of under a time crunch. But we think we're close. It just depends on now what the council does, and we'll see on the 7th. We certainly welcome public input. But we've been already reviewing the plans. We try to get ahead of it, assuming that we would have an agreement. So I think we're okay with a lot of the improvements. It's just some of the wording in the proposed agreement that we may have some issues with. But I'm hopeful that we'll work it out, and we'll find out on July 7th.
Okay, it is Village Manager, Village of Islamorada, Ron Saunders with us on Good Morning Keys. We mentioned traffic earlier. Freebie has been an initiative that was instituted a while ago by the Village of Islamorada to help with congestion and provide a transportation alternative. Apparently you had some public input offered just, I believe, last night, if you had mentioned that correctly, or if I remember that. And what did you garner from that meeting, and where are we with Freebie and the possibility of continuing with their service?
Well, the Village of Islamorada has had an agreement with Freebie since 2018. It's been renewed several times. Then we had a renewal coming up at the end of this month, actually on June 30th. And so rather than automatic renewing, we thought it might be time to see who else might be interested in providing the service. So we did a request for proposals back in March. We got 2 responses. One is from Be Free LLC, which is Freebie's DBA as Freebie. The other was from a company called Transit Circuit, Inc. The Village Council didn't want to accept the recommendation of staff committee initially. They wanted to hear more input from the public. So we had a workshop a couple weeks ago to have presentations from both companies. After that presentation at the public workshop, then the council did vote to move ahead with renewing a contract with Freebie. I did have some people in the community say they'd like to have input on that contract because I have the authority to execute it without any input, but we wanted input. So I asked some citizens in the community to serve in an informal task force. We had that meeting last night. We had 6 members of the community show up as members of the task force. A couple more showed up in the audience. And we had 4 out of 5 council members come to sit in the meeting. So it's great that we had council and members of the community talking about the contract because it is important for a ride. It's an on-demand ride share. And we had Mayor Horton, Vice Mayor Mahoney, and members Richards and Gillis attend, and a couple of them actually spoke. But we had good input about what should or should not be in the contract and ways we can improve the service. And I'll be talking with the Freebies representative today and start that try to get finalization on that contract. But we do appreciate the input from citizens. We've had numerous citizen committees and workshops, et cetera, because I always think it's great to get input from the citizens to be as transparent as possible. For example, we put the notice of the last night's meeting in our Monday newsletter. And I encourage people to subscribe to our newsletter because we have a lot of information on that. It's online at our website at islamorada.fl.us. And so certainly we try to get everybody's input and use it to get things done here in Islamorada.
It is Village Manager of Village of Islamorada and Ron Saunders with us this morning. Thank you for that update. And also July 4th, just around the corner, the village offices will be closed officially on July 3rd. And we're getting ready to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. That will be celebrated at Founders Park in the Upper Keys in Islamorada. Family fun, food, and fireworks on the 4th, 6 to 10 p.m. Food trucks, patriotic people, and puppy parade. That's awesome. Costume contest, 7:30. Music fun, face painting, inflatable fun features as well. Then the fireworks beginning after sunset. So that's just on the horizon. Big celebration in Islamorada.
Yeah, that's always a great event, very well attended. And as you said, it's also supported by the county and TDC. They support most of I think all the 4th of July celebrations, at least the official ones. And so we do appreciate that help from the county. And we always encourage people to come. They have one in Key Largo, Marathon, Islamorada, Key West, Big Pine. So wherever you live, there'll be a celebration. It's certainly special this year with the 250th anniversary of our founding of our country. So we encourage people to come to anyone that's near you. But if you live in the Islamorada area, certainly come here on Saturday, 4th of July, 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we'll give a quick shout out to the sponsors, too. Thanks to them. It looks like Florida Keys Electric Cooperative, AEI, Keys Weekly, CBT Construction, Islamorada Distilling and Brewery, Sunbelt Rentals, and a grant also from Key West International Airport as well. July 4th in Islamorada, family fun, food, and fireworks once again at Founders Park. Ron Saunders with us on Good Morning Keys. And you said the next meeting for the council is coming up July 7th?
Yes, Tuesday, July 7th. We have a regular council meeting once a month. And the next one's going to be July 7th. Now, in August, we're going to start our budget hearings. As all the government bodies and the Keys, our fiscal years start on October 1. It ends September 30th. And so we have to start the budget process. We've gotten notice from the property appraiser about the tax rolls because they have to do a new valuation every year. And the way property taxes are determined, it's millage rate times value equals tax. And so the millage rate is a percentage, and you multiply that times the property tax rolls, that gets the property taxes that would be collected from taxpayers. The good news, I think everywhere in the Keys, values have gone up, which means we will collect more money. That's the good news. The bad news is our costs keep going up because we have, for example, our firefighters have a collectively bargained 6% pay raise already included. We have obviously our cost of insurance, everything else, just like a resident does. Your costs are going up, our costs go up too. So we're trying to be fiscally conservative and keep our costs down, but certainly it's a challenge. You saw last year, for example, Monroe County eliminated 40 positions, eliminated their transit department. Speaking of freebie, they don't have that's gone from the county. We've taken that over here in this area. So the budget is going to be a tough year. We're also keeping in mind that there's a constitutional amendment on the ballot in November that could have an impact, not necessarily on this fiscal year coming up, but the next one. So we're already trying to figure out where we can tighten our belt even more than we have done in the past. And make sure that we're spending every dollar we collect from taxpayers as wisely as possible. Last year, I set up a citizens budget task force on the budget, and they gave us some good suggestions. And so we're always open to ways to, spend their money better. And we welcome any input that anybody has on our budget. It's on public record, and I'm always available to answer any questions. So we encourage people to get involved in the budget process. I think we have 3 budget hearings next month in August. Actually, no, it's not next month yet. We're going to start the process in July, but in August we'll have 3 budget hearings. And so we'll publicize those and encourage people to come in and give us their input.
Yeah, Ron Saunders, he's village manager, Village of Almirada on Good Morning Keys. And as a former legislator, you do have a pretty keen understanding of budgets and how to manage those, and it could be challenging. Do you have any idea as far as what the public sentiment is so far, as far as the property tax vote in the fall? Of course, it has to have a 60% threshold, and obviously it's anybody's guess as to where that will land, whether it will be approved or not. There's pros and there's cons on both sides of that argument and every argument. Have you gotten a sense at all as far as whether public sentiment might sway on the side of approval or disapproval, or is it just too hard to tell at this point?
Well, at this point, it's more just getting the information out. For example, we didn't know what was going to happen until the legislature approved it. That only happened recently. One important part of it only affects homestead properties. It would not be a tax cut or tax benefit to anybody other than people who have homesteads, which in Monroe County is not a big number. It's I think county-wide, I've seen numbers, depending on how you calculate it, as low as 18% of the homes eligible are actually homesteaded. If you're not homesteaded, if you rent property, if it's your second home, if you're commercial property, this amendment will really not affect you. If you do have homestead property, it basically increases the homestead exemption. So you're still going to pay. They didn't eliminate unless your home is less than the value. I don't think any homes in the Keys are worth less than $250,000. That'd be very. If there is, call me because I might be interested in purchasing one because those values are long gone. I was born and raised in the Keys, and we used to be able to buy a home a lot cheaper than you can today. So, but it would be help if it passes. It'll help some homeowners who are homesteaded. The rest of them will not get a benefit. And the concern of some people is that there'll just be a cost shift. In other words, homeowners that have homestead may pay less, but others may pay more. And so I think that's part of the education process is just letting people know, here are the benefits, here are the potential costs. Fees may be raised, for example. I've seen the county talk about charging for parking in parks. They're looking at already ways of changing their revenue stream. And so I think these are things that people have taken into consideration before they vote. The village is not allowed under law to advocate. We cannot say vote for or against the amendment. We can't educate. And so we're going to say, here are the impacts. Here's potential what could happen, and then make your choice based on the best information we can get you.
Yes, sir. Well, and 18%, that seems to be the number of homesteaded households in the county, as you had mentioned, that's kind of the benchmark here. Is it the same in the village of Alamorada? Is the percentage about equal to that in the county for homesteaded properties there?
Yes, we have a lot of people who have second homes. We have a lot of rentals, et cetera. So once again, this proposed amendment would not affect them. The amendment is an increase in the exemption just for homesteaded properties. And so basically, I think you have to, and even the people that have homestead, it may not necessarily be a big decrease for them, because if there's a shift, for example, charging more for admission to things, or increasing wastewater fees or stormwater fees, et cetera, the net effect may not be as great as you might anticipate. So we just want to get that information out there. If it passes, it passes. If it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. But I think that the main thing is educate voters, because before you vote for an issue or a candidate, for example, I know you've been involved the last few days with the candidate forums. Yes, I think that's always great to do. Have the information out there, and that way when people go to vote, as you said, I'm a former state legislator. I served for 14 years in the state legislature. I always have public workshops, et cetera, to explain what happened after session. I come back and tell people, here's what we did during session, here's what we didn't do. Because I think an informed voter is the best part of our government. We have to have people know what's happening, and that way, they can either like or not like what the elected officials are doing for them. I think overall we have good elected officials in the Keys, and they do try to get the information out there. But sometimes people are just trying to make a living and trying to survive, and they don't have time to go to candidate forums or to listen to the radio or read the newspaper. So it's always great when we try to, as many ways as possible, get that information out there, whether it's on your radio show, our newsletter, trying to get the information to the voters. And once again, we encourage people, if you have a question, reach out to your elected officials, reach out to managers like me and say, I don't understand this, or why aren't you doing this? And we'll be happy to try to answer your questions.
Ron Saunders, village manager, Village of Alamorada, as he mentioned, former state legislator for our district on Good Morning Keys. And one final note on the property tax amendment, referendum, we'll put it that way. Is there any way that there will be a reduction, as it stands right now, for businesses and, for second homes, for instance? I had seen something about the fact that, second homes, rental homes, et cetera, could see a reduction as well, even though they're not homesteaded. Is that a possibility?
Well, there's part of confusion. I'm one of the more when I was legislature, I was one of the most anti-property tax legislators up there. I said, I'm from the Keys, and we felt it before anybody else, our high valuations. That's so many years ago, it seems like now, and it was many years ago, I also sponsored what was called Save Our Homes. Because before, your assessment, if your property, if you was next door to a rich person who came in and paid a crazy price for their house, your value would go up because the market value went up. And that wasn't fair to longtime homeowners. And so I sponsored and was on the ballot and passed Save Our Homes, which caps the increase for homesteaded properties. Later on, we actually put higher caps on other types of property. But as my understanding of this amendment is that it's not really going to benefit directly anybody that's not homesteaded. And so, and that's part of my concern, is if it's just a cost shift to people who have second homes or rental properties. I have a couple of rental properties, and my tenants, I try not to pass these increases along in the rent, but it's very difficult when your property insurance goes up, your property taxes go up. The landlord, if they're going to make it viable economically, has to pass those costs along. And then commercial property homeowners are getting hammered because their values are going up too. And so I think overall, property taxes are a very stable source of income for homeowners. And then in the Keys, at least, we have some of the lowest millage rates in the state. Part of that's because we have high property values, but I also think it's because we recognize that property taxes are tough, and the government bodies don't want to raise taxes. That's the cost you pay for services. And I think we have overall pretty good services here in the Keys, but there's a cost to them. For example, if you want to have a good firefighter system or good law enforcement, they all have to live here, and so every year we have to pass that cost along when they come in for a pay raise, et cetera. So basically, we try to have a good situation here where you're getting services you want, but not at too high a cost.
So, and Ron, yes. So I just looked this up real quickly. The proposal also matters. That is, the tax reform proposal matters for investment property because it would lower the annual assessment increase cap for many non-homesteaded properties from 10% to 5% beginning January 1st, 2027. So that talks to what you had just discussed.
Yeah, that's not a reduction. It's a protection against potential increases.
Okay.
So I think your question was, will it directly benefit them as far as a tax cut? It won't be a tax cut for non-homestead. It'll just prevent their assessments from going up even higher than they would have but for the cap.
Okay.
So they won't see a reduction in their taxes. A homestead property could potentially see a decrease in their taxes. Other properties wouldn't see a decrease. They wouldn't see as much of an increase.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the clarity there. It is a little bit confusing, and what we're trying to do is make people more informed and more understanding of what actually is being proposed before they vote for it. And I know you're a big advocate of that. It will be interesting to see how the state votes overall, because, yes, the homesteaded percentages of homes in other counties can vary greatly from what we have here. So time will tell, but it could have implications and ramifications for municipalities and their budgets and their services, as well as counties as well, and that's what we're trying to understand. So thank you for your expertise on those subjects as well. Is there anything else, though, that we should be mentioning at this time, whether it's for the common understanding of politics in general from your expertise or the village overall?
Well, again, I encourage people to attend the candidate forums. I know you and your station have been very active as far as getting the word out about these things. But we have, for example, in Alamorada, we have 5 council members. All 5 are up every 2 years. And so up here, at least, all 5 of our incumbents have filed for re-election. And at this point, they don't have opposition, although there's still a couple months to go until that happens. But we're having, for example, this Saturday, it's a candidate forum to get informed about our laws and regulations. That's this Saturday morning, and you can find out more about that by going to our website if you're interested in running for office, for example, primarily for our candidates, but I guess it'll apply to other people running, countywide. But so we have all 5 of our council members up this election. We also have some charter amendments that will be on the ballot that would, for example, change the term of office for our village council members. Because right now, having all 5 up every 2 years is not probably the best way to operate. And so we'll be talking more about those amendments as we get closer to November. But certainly we encourage people to attend forums and go online, check out the Supervised Elections website, for example. You can check out finances, who's contributing to whose campaign. And I think that's all good information to have before you make a decision on who you're voting for.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. And please do pass along our well wishes to all of those running for re-election to the Village Council and anybody running there. Do also pass along the fact that this platform is open to them should they decide to come on and use it. We'll continue to reach out to your council members to invite them on the air here to talk directly to voters in the Upper Keys listening on 96.9 as well as on the online stream. So want to make sure we continue to provide that service for the community. But we thank you so very much, Ron, for being here on a regular basis and providing your perspective and updates on the village of Alamorada. We also thank you for your many years of service to our county on a statewide level and now on the village level, the village of Alamorada. I know that they are very appreciative of your skills and commitment to the village, and we thank you for that.
Well, thank you, and I always enjoy the invitation to come on your show and speak through you to the people out there. So thank you again for having me on.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. Take care, Ron. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Ron Saunders, Village of Alamorada. He's the village manager there. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Keys, former state legislator as well. Always enjoy our discussions here. I'm going to go get another cup of coffee. It could be helpful. In the meantime, we'll be returning with more Good Morning Keys in a moment.
Good morning, dear. Breakfast almost ready.
In a minute. So did you happen to call someone about spalling repair for the house?
You know what? I knew I forgot something yesterday.
Honey, you know how important spalling repair is, especially here in the Keys. If that spalling damage gets any worse...
Don't worry. I'll call Design Center in Marathon.
When?
Today.
How about now?
Okay, dear. Now.
Design Center, the most efficient spalling contractor in the Keys, providing the fastest results. With over 40 years combined experience in spalling repair and a member of the International Concrete Repair Institute, Design Center can handle the largest jobs to small structures. They also handle quite a number of condominium and county projects. Mention this ad or the program you're listening to and receive 10% off your spalling repair. Visit DesignCenterFL.com or call 305-735-4000 4042. Design Center, 6677 Overseas Highway Marathon. License number CGC 1523838. Remember, mention this ad or the program you're listening to and receive 10% off your Spalling repair from Design Center.
This is Ollie North for 4-Star Rentals. 4-Star Rentals is the most complete rental store in the Keys. They can provide rental equipment for every do-it-yourself project from your house to your yard. Bobcats, chippers, chainsaws, and tile saws, you name it, they have it. They also deliver throughout the Keys. That's 4-Star Rentals. Model marker 4.5 on Stock Island. These guys are really good. That's 4-Star Rentals. Go see them soon.
Check us out. What Colonel Ollie North says is absolutely true. We're locally owned and operated. We offer a fleet of delivery trucks for fast all-in-one delivery. 4-Star Rentals is the oldest tool rental and party store in the Florida Keys. We make it easy to get that job done for that party or very special event. We're located at mile marker 4.5 in Key West, or just call us and we'll come to you. 4-Star Rentals, 294-7171. That's 294-7171. Remember, Colonel Ollie North never lies.
Historic Pepe's Cafe in Key West, founded in 1909, still does things the old way. Diachronic, if you will. How about fresh squeezed juices? Think how good that margarita or Greyhound will taste. Blue Point oysters shucked to order because oysters work better that way. Fresh breads and outstanding specials in an eatery that opened the same year Ole Evinrude invented the first outboard motor. And get a jump on someone's birthday and check out our retail offerings for some great gift ideas. Pepe's Cafe, Old Town Key West, of course.
Good morning, Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And good morning, Keys. Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5. The Talk of the Keys. Thanks once again to all who were able to attend the candidate forums the past few evenings. And hopefully everyone who was there, as well as those listening on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, The Talk of the Keys, were able to get a little more informed and find a little bit more about those who you'll be asked to vote for on August 18th upcoming. So we were honored to be a part of that process. We'll continue to bring you information and discussions with those who will be running and who are running for public office countywide and in your municipalities as well. So it is 8:36 now. We're going to say good morning to Nancy Klinger. She is with Monroe County Libraries, where it's also a lot of knowledge floating around there as well. How are you, Nancy?
I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Excellent. So another way to get enlightened is to get engaged with a book. Summer reading is on this June and July at all of the branches.
That's right. That's right. If you go right to our website, keyslibraries.org, you'll see front and center there's summer reading, and there's tons of activities at each of our 5 branches going on through the months of June and July. So lots to do. And if you have family visiting from town, you don't need a library card to attend our events. Of course, if you in Monroe County, we would love for you to have a library card. But you can bring on anyone. All of our events are free and open to the public.
Yeah, well, Nancy, we've got themes at each of the branches too, which makes it even more interesting. Ticket to Read in Key West is the first one.
That's right. That's right. And there's lots of fun activities to go with that, different themes for each week, and things you can take home or do in the library, bookmark decorating, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, so Ticket to Read, you're kind of going around the world to different regions and different continents. That's the theme that runs through that. And then the other branches, coast to coast, cover to cover for Big Pine Marathon's theme. Making music with Rock and Read, very cool. Islamorada and Key Largo are celebrating America's 250th birthday in the summer reading program. And that, of course, is going to create the theme for them. And it looks like we've got, there's so many, there's so many different events listed here. I have to scroll through to get to where the ones are upcoming. But movie matinee, Wizard of Oz coming up on Saturday. That's in Islamorada and Key Largo, I think. I'm not sure which one that one is. But again, just an example of a lot of different activities that happen with reading or other multimedia assets there at the libraries.
That's right. And part of summer reading is you can pick up a reading log at the library and record your reading and turn it in to earn prizes. And this year, our two Upper Keys branches, Isla Mirada and Key Largo, basically you can turn your log in at either branch. So you can earn those prizes, wherever you happen to be in that area, whichever is more convenient for you.
Okay, Nancy Klingener with us. She's with the Monroe County Public Libraries on Good Morning Keys, keyslibraries.org. And let's talk also about the Florida Keys History Center. Now, when I saw you at the Public Information Consortium that was held for the county, where a lot of public information officers similar to yourself got together and talked about, improving communication in the eventuality of some kind of a catastrophic event or whatever it might be, just improving that communication and interagency cooperation. And you gave a presentation that gave somewhat of a historical perspective of a particular event, and Florida Keys History Center might have some of the information that you imparted upon the crowd there as well.
Yeah, we have tons of information there. We're adding to it all the time, and we're trying to make it as accessible as possible, whether that's in person. The Florida Keys History Center is located at the Key West Library at 700 Fleming Street in downtown Key West. And we've recently expanded the hours. So now it's open on Wednesday evenings until 8 o'clock, and it's open on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you have a weekday 9 to 5 job, now you can have a chance to come into the History Center. Also, we are always adding to our online collection. We've had this photo archive on Flickr for 20 years, and it is unbelievably popular. But now we're adding other documents, and we've recently just added audio. So we've got oral histories that were recorded by the Key West Women's Club back in the 70s, timed with the bicentennial. And we've also got the tape that was dug up from that bicentennial time capsule at Mason School.
Oh, wow.
So we've got the audio recordings for those. They're on the website. So if you just go to keyslibraries.org, in the top right-hand corner, you'll see Florida Keys History Center. Click on that, and that page has a lot. It's got the Today in Keys history. It's got the Island Chronicles, which are these fascinating features that Dr. Corey Malcolm writes. And now it's also got the audio.
So we have an interesting tie-in. You've been hearing that we had the candidate forums and debates the past few nights in Key West, which were countywide, as well as the local races in Key West as well. And I was able to take part in those conversations. But right here on the Key West Florida Keys History Center for today, back in 1826, and I mention this because the Mosquito Control Board is one of the seats up for election this year. 1826, a letter written at Indian Keys said the mosquitoes, spelled Musketoes, are so numerous and voracious that they keep the hogs squealing, the dogs barking, and the fowls cackling all night. And mosquitoes were part of the topic in our forums as well. But very interesting, the Florida Keys History Center gets down to that amount of detail on a daily basis. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, and if you read the Today in Keys history column, you'll see that, first of all, a lot of very strange and interesting things have happened, and also that some things really don't change over 200 years.
It is amazing. Well, again, you can, I tell you, some people say that like social media and Facebook is kind of like a black hole you can sink down into and get stuck in. Well, much more positive influences, the Florida Keys History Center. I could spend hours there just going through the archival images there. Over 24,000 images from the history of the Florida Keys. It really, you could spend a lot of time there understanding the Keys better, and it's a worthwhile use of time too.
Yes, absolutely. And we're adding more photos to that all the time. There are recently some new ones up there from the great Don Pinder, who was the citizen photographer in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. There's a picture of a woman having her photo taken with the southernmost point while it was under construction. It's not even painted yet. It's got scaffolding around it.
And that's not the renovation going on now. That's the first one.
No,
Yeah.
that was when it first was going up. So it's pretty great.
It is. KeysLibraries.org. And then you can get right to there, the tab right towards the top, Florida Keys History Center. Remind me again what the conch shell with the, I'm going to press on it, conch shell with the flashing arrow, that goes right to your menu overall, right?
That's right. That goes to the menu. You can also find the menu down at the bottom of the website. And we've added all the things from that we're adding to the Florida Keys History Center are on the menu, like the audio and the collection, which includes the items from that bicentennial time capsule, and a really cool photo album from the Naval Air Station in World War I. So early aviation. So if you're a plane buff, go check that out.
Yeah, it's right there at your fingertips or in person at the Key West Library location. It is the Florida Keys History Center. So make sure you spend some time appreciating and understanding our history here in the Florida Keys, as they have put together a tremendous resource to help you do that. And as my parents would have said, if you're looking for more newfangled types of things, there's Canopy, there's Libby, there's Freegal Music, Mango Languages, so many different resources that are in the present day and almost futuristic, right at your fingertips at keyslibraries.org.
That's right. And no subscription fees and no ads. Yeah. And the Canopy Kids is unlimited plays. So I think that's really important for people to know. It's not going to roll over into a video. You don't know what it is. It's not going to be targeting your kids with ads for a bunch of stuff. It's curated, good kids content.
Yeah, very good. And even just added, you can see the titles that are just added to the libraries. And some great reads there as well. Nancy Klingener with us, Monroe County Libraries. Go to keyslibraries.org. You can get your library card there and find out all the other resources. And better yet, visit one of the branches throughout the Keys, and you will be amazed at all that is available to you here at our Monroe County Public Libraries. It's come a long way since the Dewey Decimal System.
Although we do still use that for
do you
really?
If you
find a nonfiction book, sure. That's how you find it.
My goodness. I remember library orientation in elementary school. Every year we got reintroduced to the Dewey Decimal System, kind of rolled our eyes and said, okay, we get it. But
we don't have the physical card catalogs anymore.
Oh, the index cards. They were the best.
Yeah.
Well, I know time must advance, and the library has advanced with it. So thank you so much for that. But if you want to go back in time to the Dewey Decimal System index cards and beyond, Florida Keys History Center is for you. So Nancy,
That's right.
I think we've hit the highlights, including the summer reading programming continuing. Anything else we should mention?
Well, if you're planning a road trip this summer, audiobooks are a great way to pass the time.
They are.
So make sure you have a library card and get on Libby and download your audiobooks.
Yeah, tremendous. Absolutely. Okay, Nancy. Well, thank you so much for being here today. We will talk to you soon. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend as we do celebrate the history of our United States 250th anniversary. And we appreciate all that Monroe County Libraries does for us. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mike.
Take care. Bye now. Nancy Klingener with us. She is with the Monroe County Public Libraries, again online, keyslibraries.org. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. We return in a moment.
Are you frustrated by weight gain even though you constantly diet? Do you have low energy or always feel tired? It could be hormonal imbalance. Hormonal imbalances, especially as we age, can be the cause of depression, weight gain, mood swings, decreased libido, and many other chronic conditions. At Keys Med Spa, we have helped thousands of women and men regain their hormonal balance with BioT, bioidentical hormone optimization therapy, and the results are life-changing. Keys Med Spa BioT hormone therapy is safe, effective, painless, and affordable. And the big difference at Keys Med Spa, this is all overseen by renowned Dr. Peterson, who has had a medical practice in the Keys for over 27 years. Cool sculpting, Botox, skin treatments, BioT hormone therapy, and more. Dr. Peterson and his team are here to help you maintain your youthful glow and vitality. To see if BioT hormone therapy is right for you, call Keys Med Spa today at 305-587-9183.
The Greenhouse. Have you been there yet? We even spell it with 3 E's to help you smile when you say it. That's our goal. We carry the largest selection of hemp-derived THC and CBD products in Monroe County. If you've been taking medication for anxiety, depression, inflammation, lack of sleep, or muscle and joint pain, and it's just not working, or you don't like the side effects, we can help. If you're looking to chill, relax, escape, focus, or even break out into euphoric fits of laughter, we can help there too. No medical card is needed. You just have to be 21 or over. Our 3 locations are open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. In Key West, we're at 431 Front Street, just in front of Mallory Square. In Marathon, you can find us at mile marker 52 at 10875 Overseas Highway. In Key Largo, we're at 99304 Overseas Highway in the middle of the road. Swing on by, share your goals with us, and we'll recommend a product to help you reach them. And we back our recommendations with a 100% money-back guarantee. The Greenhouse. Stop on by and find out what the buzz is all about today.
Visit one of the 12 locations of the Greenhouse, including 9 in the Keys and featuring their newest store at 3128 North Roosevelt, Key West.
Hey, Key West, Danny Hughes here from Two Friends. Really from Two Friends. So Maura and I were sitting at breakfast in the bar, listening to live music at 8:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. She's about to enjoy some huevos rancheros and me shrimp and grits with fried oysters. Heart healthy. And Maura says, Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. It was perfect because we didn't move here because Key West is like a lot of other places. We moved here because it isn't like any other place on earth. So meet your friends or make your friends at Two Friends, 512 Front Street in Old Town, Key West, or twofriends.com.
This is Good Morning Keys on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5.
And Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the talk of the Keys. Good morning, Keys. It is already the 25th of June. So what, another 6 months till Christmas? And it was 6 months already since Christmas, if my math is right. I think that's right. Or is that? No, I guess that is true. How about that? Well, Misha McCrae, maybe you can help me sort out the calendar. You do know, though, it is absolutely summertime in the Keys. We're at 86. We're going to 91. I assume you're keeping everything well watered out there at the Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Garden.
We wished.
Oh, okay.
we were praying for rain. We got thunder instead. Someone reported to me that we had a tenth of an inch of rain, and I told them that's just spit.
Yeah, that's not enough to do us some good there as far as the tropical forest.
No, the water bill is up. That's all I can tell you.
Well, then we need contributions, don't we?
We sure do. I need help at the garden. This garden is a community center. It represents to the world the city of Key West and that we care about our environment.
Protector of the trees for over 90 years and still going strong. Let's talk about a couple of things in particular, though. Phase 2 of the Native Orchid Conservation Project. That started up out of planting of 2 rare native orchids, and you can tell us what they are, if you would, please.
Certainly, please. This is a collaboration with the Key West Orchid Society, so thank you, Key West Orchid Society people, and Fairchild Tropic Botanic Gardens 1 Million Orchid Project. Historically, there's been 20 different species of native orchids in the Florida Keys. Unfortunately, about 3 or 4 are already extinct. And then out of the remaining 17, I think there's only about 8 or 9 in the wild. So we got together and figured this is not right. We got to figure it out, not only for the ornamental value of orchids, but what of orchids does for our environments, for our plant biodiversity. So we started a conservation project that is an effort. Raising orchids are very hard, especially when they're small because they're spores. So that's why Fairchild stepped in to help us propagate these. 3 years of accumulation started out in installation of 2 different really, really rare Florida Keys orchids. The butterfly orchid, the Encyclia tampezia, was the first that we put out. And the second one's called the wormvine orchid, which is actually known better as the vanilla orchid. Have been already outplanted at the Botanical Garden. Instead of being in a shade house, in a display room, the purpose of the garden is to grow the plants and give them a place in their natural environment. So with the help of the Key West Orchid Society, we designated 20 different locations throughout the garden to do a pilot program to see how well they do out in nature. So this is with the help of them. This started first in the first of the year, and then the second one was in June for the second planting of it. This is an excellent opportunity not only to save these species from going extinct, but also to show the wonder and the beauty of native orchids here in the Keys.
Yeah, so it's been said that orchid breeding combines science and artistry. It really is a pretty complex process, isn't it?
It is. Mother Nature's got it figured out, but if we're going to man-made do it, we got to do it in a sterile environment. You got to do flasking out of like 500,000 spores that you get started. Only about 500,000 actually survive. And by the time they're 2 or 3 years old, like we have found out that it was narrowed down to 500. Right now, we put 20 of each species throughout the botanical garden. We're very excited about it. Our goal is that in the next 5 years, we'll have 10 species outgrowing in the wild, not just at the botanical garden, but where they belong out in the Florida Keys.
Oh, wow. Well, that is going to be excellent. And again, thanks for bringing us up to date on phase 2 of the Native Orchid Conservation Project. And, well, you know, you have lots of other native plants. You're really the only habitat with native Florida Keys plants that exists.
We're very proud to boast, proud to say, proud to claim, however you want to say it proudly. We have over 560 species of native plants at the Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Garden. And our collection represents the Florida Keys, Cuba, and the Caribbean. That's the biggest collection of native plants, especially here in Florida, that you'll find. And we have prime examples of everything. We showcase them not only in the garden, but we also raise them in the native nursery to educate as well for plant sales to help support the botanical garden in our efforts.
Yeah, Misha McRae with us from the Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Garden on Good Morning Keys. Well, we need weed warriors for all of those plants to take care of them and give them tender, loving care. So let's talk about that as well.
Yes, volunteers are what float my boat because I have no budget to hire people. We need our volunteers, and we've got some dedicated volunteers. Our volunteers at the Botanical Garden are called the Garden Guardians because that's what they do. If you're interested in the orchids, we've got a volunteer program that you can help assist, working along with the Botanical Garden nursery staff and the Key West Orchid Society. They meet on Saturdays between 12 and noon. We not only will teach you about the orchids, how to propagate them, how to care for them, but also learn about our program and help us let the program grow. Weed warriors. We pray for rain. We got spit, but hopefully the rain is coming. But the trees and the plants and the shrubs and the flowers and everything but the butterflies love the rain. So do the weeds. So we need our volunteers, summer volunteers, to come help us do our weed warrioring. That not only helps in the native nursery, but throughout the garden. Keep in mind, the Garden Guardians is not only our weed warriors, but it is a way that we can educate people about native plants, how to care for native plants, and hopefully take that knowledge out to the garden and into their own yards on what they have on native plants and how to maintain it and protect them. And then through an offshoot on that, we have the Children's Companion Program. They work alongside the nursery staff as well as the Garden Guardians, learning maintenance, care for the environment, love the environment, find their favorite plant. And then it really looks good on kids' resumes when they go off to college to say they work not only for a nonprofit, but they volunteered in conservation, in preservation. The college recruiters are very impressed with the people that show up with that.
Indeed. Misha McRae with us. He's Executive Director of the Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Garden on Good Morning Keys. So we mentioned it, the rain and lack thereof leading to a pretty high water bill. There's other, of course, costs that continue to even escalate to keep the Key West Tropical Forest Botanical Garden open. We've got continued administration funding cuts. Donations are definitely needed to keep everything in balance and keep things moving forward at the Key West Tropical Forest Botanical Garden. So there's a number of ways that people can help in that regard.
That's right. I need the world's smallest violin because I'm putting together the new fiscal year budget, and And I don't want to get depressed. I'm an old guy.
Mm-hmm.
I know the city and the community can help me with that, because with the new fiscal year budget and the administration cuts, I need the community support. Please consider your donation to the Botanical Garden, and that can be done in many different ways. Donations help me, of course, balance my budget, but become a member. I think the best way, the most respectful way that I appreciate and most thankful about are people who have signed their name on a check. Membership is one of the ways, because it is considered a donation, and all donations are tax deductible. Keep this garden growing. Beyond keep it open, keep it growing is what we want to do for the next 90 years, because thank you, City of Key West. We did get that 99-year lease, and we're putting it to work. Become a volunteer. The main thing is, and like I say in life, you get the most out of it when you participate.
Yes.
So become a member, make your donation, become a volunteer. 3 things about this botanical garden that I stand on my soapbox and preach, because I believe it. The garden is not only good for the environment, it's good for the city because of what it represents. But more importantly, for those volunteers and the people who really understand and appreciate what this 90-year history means, it's good for the soul. It just is a feel-good thing to do. So come out, help us grow, be part of the original Key West Green Team for 90 years.
Misha McRae, Executive Director, Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Garden on Good Morning Keys. All well said and all very true. And it's also the Key West Tropical Forest Botanical Garden is good for education and good for the kids as well. We'll make another mention of the Education Center and the ongoing pursuit of a new facility that's sorely needed there.
That's correct. Our education program reaches out to 3,500 kids per year, brings them into the garden. We pay for busing whenever transportation is needed. It's just a way for, once again, for us to prove to the city that the garden is good for us and it's good for the next generation, because they are losing that love of the environment and the nature because it's disappearing all the way everywhere around us.
Yes, sir. Well, Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Garden, go to keywest.garden. That indeed is the website address, keywest.garden, to find out more, to find out how you can help and get involved with the Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Garden, celebrating 90 plus years as keeper of the trees. Misha McRae with us, Executive Director, Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Garden. You probably have some watering to get to, among other things, unfortunately, Misha, but before we let you get to that, anything else we should mention now?
Yeah, I love you, man. I appreciate what you do.
I love you too, pal. Thank you so much for being here and all that you do as well. Hey, just like the plants, though, stay hydrated out there.
All right. You have a great day.
Thank you. Take care. Misha McRae with us, Executive Director, Key West Tropical Forest and Botanical Garden on Good Morning Keys. And we're going to have your complete forecast coming up in just a minute. That will highlight the need to stay hydrated, not to be an alarmist, but it's warm. That's what I keep hearing from everybody. That's to be expected, but a little warmer than normal. It's causing some effects on our water temperature. We've been talking about that the past few days, causing some effects on sargassum as well. We'll continue to talk about that as well. Be careful if you have existing health conditions regarding respiratory ailments, etc. Be careful of the vapors that those sargassum blooms can give off, and some of the ill effects that are being caused by the influx of sargassum. There's a lot of efforts being made to try to mitigate that as much as possible, but that is also a byproduct of some of the warm temperatures that we're getting and have been getting for a while. Coral bleaching, be on the lookout for that and report it to National Marine Sanctuary and Reef Relief and others as well. So as a result, though, it seems to mitigate, from what they're saying, the opportunity for hurricanes to exist with the warm conditions and other weather fronts, etc., that we have been hearing about as well. So anyway, there's pros, there's cons. The glass is still half full, though. We're still absolutely in paradise. As we sit at 88 degrees at 9:03 in the morning. This is Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. And an additional thank you to all those who participated in the candidate forums and debates the past couple of days, as well as those who listened in and actually attended in person. And we thank all of those candidates who have made the commitment to run for public office and to serve. It is many times a thankless job, as we've said before, but we appreciate the commitment and dedication of those who have committed to running for office once again. This is Keys Talk, 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. Getting set for the heavy hitters of talk radio coming your way shortly. Glenn Beck coming up momentarily, followed by Clay and Buck at noon, Sean Hannity at 3 o'clock. 5 o'clock, it is Drew Steele with Florida's Voice. 6 o'clock, Mark Levin, the great one. 9 o'clock, Jesse Kelly, Coast to Coast AM overnight. Local, state, national news every half hour. It is breaking news as soon as it happens, weather around the clock, and AUC with Dr. B, Saturday morning at 9 a.m., all here on Keys Talk 96.9, 102.5, the Talk of the Keys. Thanks for listening.